Today, what I want to talk about is this really simple but important rule that I have when I think about side hustles, a rule that I adopted a while ago that I think really saved me a lot of money. I think increased the amount of money that I earned, really helped me get to where I am today, where I had the hours to work on challenging, difficult, but low-paying projects like Six Sermons, the show I wrote for Audible starring Stephanie Hsu. The rule is that whenever you take a side hustle, whenever you're choosing a job that you're going to use the income from to support your other pursuits, make sure you choose something that the longer you do it, the more you earn doing that, which is to say, the more valuable your skill gets over time. For example, if you are a website designer who's 19, you might be a prodigy, but let's just say you just learned web design. You got really handy with Squarespace or whatever. You can kind of like work your way around Squarespace super easily, super deftly, but you don't have a ton of experience, but you can knock out a really good website for $100. And so you start doing that. And then, you start getting better at it. And then you can charge $200 for that same website or $300 and your websites are getting better. And all of a sudden you're charging $100 or $1,000 for a website that you made in a day. And so by choosing a side hustle of designing websites, you chose something that over time your skill set got more and more and more valuable, more and more lucrative, and your earning power from it became higher and higher and higher. And there's really no limit to something like that, right? The better you get at web design, you can really make a lot of money. So as opposed to something like, say, waiting tables, where, don't get me wrong, I've waited so many tables, and waiting tables comes with all these auxiliary benefits. If you're an actor, you're going to meet collaborators and other performers. You're meeting people, you're getting stories, in a lot of ways, you're getting like the camaraderie, the social element. Like there's lots to be said for waiting tables. But from an exclusively kind of labor perspective, you can't really get paid much more as you continue to wait tables. Sure, you might be able to work at a nicer restaurant where there's a higher base wage, where the tips are going to come in a little bit better, and maybe there's a path there to becoming a full-time like professional waiter and you learn your wines and stuff. But at that point, it doesn't really work as a side hustle because you kind of have to really commit to that and not, write your screenplay. So whenever I'm choosing a gig to this day, I decide, hey, listen, can I charge more for this the next time I do this? I'm writing fiction. Fortunately, I have representation that helps me negotiate fair pay, fairer pay for some of that work. But in terms of the contract work that I do, copywriting, I really kind of assess what's in front of me and says, okay, hey, is this the kind of thing that I can put on my resume so that when I do this kind of work again, I can charge even more money? And if the answer is no, I pass on it. And so I think if you're a young writer, an emerging anything in New York or Mexico City where I live or wherever you are in this world, it's really valuable to think about the skills you're learning now that are supporting the things you really want to be doing and making sure that those skills become more and more and more value. Because if you're sharp and you're sharp enough to be making good art, which I'm sure you are, then whatever sort of skill your hustle skill is, over time, that is going to become really lucrative. It's going to afford you the freedom and the time that you need to put into your craft, your art, to get good enough to make a living there, or at the very least, have the kind of space to really achieve a singular vision that even if it doesn't sell is something super special. Press the like button if you found value in this video, and do let me know in the comments about your side hustle and how you think about it.